All right, Stephen. We're moving on to a story regarding SNIA, because they're announcing that they have a new way for memory to be utilized in devices. The Smart Data Accelerator Interface, or SDXI, is designed to help optimize memory-to-memory data movers. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute, this kind of sounds like direct memory access, well, then you'd probably be right. This is kind of a addition to what they've been working on there. The goal is really to help SNIA members build a few more integrations with CXL, which is a topic that you're very familiar with, as well as building on some of the disaggregated computing research that they've been doing. But Stephen, I was kind of curious, what do you think that SNIA is kind of hoping to accomplish with this new standard?
Well, like all SNIA standards, and first off, let me just say I'm a big fan of standardization, and I'm a big fan especially of the people that put all their work into the thankless task of trying to create standards for things. You guys rock. So SNIA has always tried to stay at the forefront of storage developments and tried to standardize what's happening out there so that there's more consistency and more interoperability between vendors. And I think that that's critical here. So SDXI is actually quite a lot like some of the other things. You may have heard of GPU direct storage on NVIDIA, for example. And as you mentioned, DMA, and there's been a lot of chatter as you've tuned in for the Utilizing CXL podcast. We've talked about the creation of disaggregated compute, but also of sort of many-to-many compute architectures where you would have basically devices, accelerators that are have a full compute stack and can basically access resources on their own without going through the host CPU in order to get there. This is really, really, really happening. And again, if you listen to Utilizing CXL, you'll hear every company in the industry is on board with this idea of a PCI Express fabric that would allow us to have cache consistent links between devices, not just in terms of fan out from the CPU, but in terms of many-to-many architectures across a fabric. Well, if we're going to have that, it's going to be necessary not just to have memory access, but to have storage access direct from all of those things. You don't want to have to go back to that CPU and say, hey, I need you to traverse an entire storage stack in order to get me some blocks or files or objects. I need, as an accelerator, it would be better for them to be able to have the ability to go out and do that work for themselves. To me, that's what's going on here, and that's what SNIA is trying to standardize. And I say more power to them, because it's one thing to standardize sort of storage device to storage device kind of access. You could say, well, that's mostly going to be homogeneous anyway, and so maybe we don't need open standards. But this is not going to be the kind of thing that's going to be homogeneous. I mean, I can't really envision a situation where we would have sort of accelerators like GPUs or AI accelerators or something that were produced by the same companies that produce the storage stack. That's just not really going to be widespread. Instead, what we're going to have is a whole world of storage devices and a whole world of accelerators all wanting to talk to each other, and SDXI should enable that. So once again, way to go, guys. Way to try to standardize this. I love it. I'm glad you're doing it, and I'm glad we can give you a little bit of publicity here on the rundown.